All right, guys. So I applied for a lead data analyst position and I did not get it. Well, I'm going to kind of give you my lessons learned. This is not going to be a typical lessons learned. This is going to be like a real personal lessons learned. This doesn't apply to everyone, and there are definitely different cases here and there. So my lessons learned are going to be a little untraditional. So the first lesson, this isn't going to be a list or anything, but one of the lessons that I learned is if you want to get promoted, you basically got to do what management says to all degrees, whether it is beneficial for the team or not. There's some things that I just really wasn't willing to do. Speaking up in meetings, like team meetings and that type of stuff, which I definitely provided value and I would speak, but it kind of gets taken too far on the team to where people literally just chime in to talk about absolutely nothing and just really just yap for no reason. I wasn't willing to do that because personally, I don't think that it's not worth speaking if you don't have anything valuable to speak about, because it just creates like fog and fuzziness in a conversation that just doesn't need to be there. But it seems like that's what management looks for. Why, I don't really know, but you can speak up in meetings and say absolutely nothing, ask dumb questions, and if you think there's not a such thing as a dumb question, there is definitely such thing as a dumb question. All right. Yeah, pretty much that's one of the things I just wasn't willing to do. I'm not willing to sit there and just speak in every meeting when I really have nothing to say or nothing valuable to add to the conversation. That's apparently something that they wanted, and that's not something I'm willing to do. Another thing is always go off of people's actions and not what they say. So when I'm speaking about this goes for life, but really what I'm saying when I'm speaking about this is management. Like I said, management always preaches that the more you know on the team, the better it's going to be for you. This decision clearly shown that that's not the case. Me versus the other candidate that was there knew a lot less than I did. If we're talking about areas that have been worked in, on paper, we write them out. It's a significant difference. So I deal with right now the back-end data for basically everybody's able to use the data because in my area, we keep it flowing and we keep it going and running seamlessly. I've also done pretty much two out of the 3 areas that this specific position was for, and the other candidate did 1. So I was even told that in the interview that I've done 2/3 of what the position is, and yet I just wasn't good enough. And it is what it is. The real reason is I just wasn't willing to do the other stuff that the other person was. I wasn't going to go to work, act like I really was buddy with people that I really don't associate with. That's just not me. That's out of my character. I realize that that is something you have to do if you want to get promoted sometimes. Depends on management, but that's what is relationship building. Once again, there's a lot of things here that are taken way too far, and management isn't always like this. So don't just paint this with a broad brush. But as far as what I see for management, the things that are, wanted when they say interpersonal relationships or creating relationships, creating trust, not even trust because it's not trust, but relationship building, I guess you would say, like, as long as you just get around the right people that, I guess have the power to promote you, then you're fine. I'm not willing to do that if I don't like you genuinely as a person, if you have character flaws and stuff like that. That's just not me. I will not pretend to be fake in that sense just to get a position, because that goes against my morals and kind of what I believe in. So I will work with you on a professional level, and we'll get work done, and that's where it will end. If I don't really mess with you for real, I'm not going to pretend like I do. I'm also not going to be rude. or anything like that. This is a workplace, but that was something that I just wasn't willing to do. And another thing is I guess you just have to really just pay attention to the prior years. People that have applied for this specific position have been done wrong, and it should have shown me something about these types of positions, that a lot of the time they already have the people that they want for the positions, and I just wasn't one of them. And I wish, instead of, because I asked the hiring manager, what's kind of the deal here? What is this? Kind of asking more about the position. And he was like, yeah, I definitely recommend that you apply for it. My thing is that I didn't ask you if I should apply for it. But the thing is that I don't think you should be encouraging somebody to apply for it when you already have the person in mind. Because my interview was not even what I would consider an interview for a specific position. There was a lot of external, factors that were brought into the equation. Like, for example, I mentioned some stuff in there about being very reactive with the way that we do things. And because obviously these managers already know me because it's for the same team, they asked specifically about technologies that have nothing to do with this role. And there was a lot of these different types of questions that kind of were more on the stuff that I do now instead of the stuff that this position requires, which I could have answered. Well, I did answer both of them, but apparently that just wasn't good enough. So the key lesson is always to pay attention to people's actions, not what they say, because in the end, words don't matter. As far as this goes, words don't matter. Somebody can tell you something left, right, and they can go straight against it, not bat an eye. It is what it is. Obviously, I'm going to move on, and there's no reason to cry over it. But this is a lesson for me, and I wanted to let you guys know and be real that, things aren't always what they seem, and just pay attention. Be very meticulous in how you move, but don't go against your morals and what you believe in for money. And that's what I will say. This was kind of a jabber session. It is what it is. I was feeling this. I was upset about it. I was kind of pissed. I'll admit that. But, it is what it is at the end of the day. There's a lot of things to be grateful for. And we'll just keep on moving. So, love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll see you on the next one.